Hey, Backlog Kids! And today, we're going to take a look at this thick, mean, badass machine from the Wing universe. And a badass it is, as you might have seen in our teaser last video. That's right folks, today we're going to take a look at the Bandai HGAC 1/144th scale Gundam Aesculapius from New Mobile Report Gundam Wing Dual Story G-Unit. Piloted by Odell Burnett, or Silver Crown, the mandatory masked man / char clone for the series. So this model kit actually is a revive of the ancient HG kit, which honestly doesn't look that bad aesthetically. But unfortunately, it has the P Bandai mark, which again is weird when you look at this retail ready box art. Well, better P Bandai than never I guess. So let's take a look at this eucalyptus. So here it is straight out of the box, and my first impression for this kit is, what an absolute badass of a kit. I'm really a fan of the menacing looking Gundam designs, which is why I don't mind the Gundam Tristan's absolutely inexcusable, outdated engineering. God damn, what a tragedy. Look at how cool this thing can be, but look at how badass that head is. So badass. Oh well, I wish I could find the time to customize this. Anyway, the Gundam Aesculapius really looks awesome, and the level of detail this kit has is reaching RG level, kind of like the Moon Gundam with lots of panel lining opportunities. For the eagle-eyed viewers out there, you'll probably notice that most of the kit's base is from the Geminas. That's actually the case, as more than half of the runners for this kit is from that kit. You could even recreate some of the parts using the leftovers, but with different colors. Probably should review that kit too, huh? Going back to the aesthetics of this kit, it sports a very chunky build with those gigantic pauldrons and backpack, which are going to be part of the cool parts formation for the close combat mode. And yes, it's a parts former, but not really. Well, you'll see. Another part of the parts formation are these propellant leg tanks, which looks so nice. Imagine getting char kicked by these battering rams. In terms of colors, it has a very unique purple and white color scheme, with bits of caramel orange and a purplish gray. Makes me crave some ube ice cream for some reason. Anyway, color separation is great, but not perfect, since some parts will still need to be painted or stickered. Most prominent one would be on his helmet, with a claw thing in his face. But other than that, the other stickers won't be missed. Oh, it also comes with another set of decal sticker sheet too. Too bad they aren't water slides though. Seam lines are not really noticeable either, with the most prominent ones being on the torso, along the shoulder pads, and behind the legs. So yeah, aesthetic wise, this kit's definitely one of the coolest looking designs and one of the more unique ones too due to its crazy silhouette. Comparing this to the old HG, this really is a complete overhaul as the design and proportions are updated to the latest standards of gunpla. Now looking at the accessories, and let's get these ones from the standard form out of the way first. First off, we have a pair of beam rifles, and honestly, not a fan of the design. Looks like it's a scrap design for Halo. These can be slotted in your typical holding hands and can be stored on these clamps at the backpack, which is neat. Next, we check out the beam sabers, which come in the very rare color of orange. And wow, these look great. Amazing how just a different color makes things look a lot better. Oh, and the hilts can be stored under these things in the shoulder pads, which is a unique way of storing them. Holds them snug too, and doesn't really fall off. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. So here it is in the close combat mode, which is basically a HGAC mode. As you've seen in the montage, you'll need to take off the head for it to fully close the torso, which I guess is not that bad, but would have been nice if you don't have to. The HGAC mode really is an awesome idea on paper, but the execution? It's a miss for me, unfortunately. It looks cool really, but the thing is, the HGAC head and the python claws don't lock to the torso and the forearms, which makes for a very finicky experience. If you ever had a Transformers figure, you'll probably notice how each form holds because the parts snap together, which unfortunately is not the case here. So it will be a bit annoying at times to hold the form. Well, with that out of the way, this really is a very unique gimmick and Bandai really did a great job on the aesthetics. I mean, look at how cool those python claws are. They look like they'll rip off a limb or two. A neat little gimmick for the arm is that the connector pieces for the shoulders are actually plastic parts that has wires running through them, so that the HGAC mode can retain the elbow articulation, which is very nice and also fits the whole Zionic aesthetic. Also, just look at how detailed this is. It even has volcans at the tip for a bit of long-range combat. What I also really like about this form is how the chunky legs look even more chunkier by just turning the armor upside down. It could use a bit of chunk around the thighs though. But man, these propellant leg tanks really are nice looking. You know what? The whole aesthetic for this kit really looks like some sort of Decepticon with its purpley mechanical design. I wouldn't blame you if you thought this was a Transformers kit bash. Before I forget, the kit also has the Accelerate rifle from the Geminas, and includes that trigger finger and open hands. I don't think this is part of the mobile suit's loadout, as it kinda doesn't match the aesthetic, but hey, spare gun. Plus, open hands are always nice. So yeah, a nice amount of accessories and a really neat transformation gimmick, which again is a shame that it's not as solid as I would like it to be. Time to check the articulation, and before anything else, I'm just gonna show you that the backpack really doesn't hinder the articulation of the arms. Very nice. Though I will be taking these large clumps of plastic off. They're a bit finicky and I don't really want to take too long shooting this segment. Alright, let's start with the head, with a double ball joint, and can look up and down like so. 360 no problem. I gotta say, the ball joint for this one is a tad loose. Might replace it later. The torso has some weird engineering going on with the ball joint pointing forwards, so it has a slight crunch. And also a bit of side to side. Honestly, not that impressive. The ball joint from the waist has more range and is less engineered. Shoulders move forward and is on a ball joint. Well, this is loose. Arms move outwards like so. Biceps swivel. Double jointed elbow, but only a 90 degrees. Hands on the ball joint. Waist swivel. Front skirts move up and down. And so does the side skirts, and can also tilt. Premium back skirt with a ball joint. Pelvis joint. Nice. Leg joints can drop down. Can split really well. Legs can kick forward and kick backwards with nice range. Thigh swivel. Ankle can tilt forwards. Feet are on a ball joint. And a nice toe bend. So yeah, I feel like the engineering is inefficient on this one. On paper, it really looks like this has amazing articulation. But upon execution, it just kinda fell flat. Wow. I'm beginning to see a pattern over here. Plus, this kit's base is really not a solid kit, and it feels a bit finicky. Well, I know it sounds like I'm really shitting all over this kit, and the articulation is not that bad. It's just that it doesn't really feel good moving this around. That's also my main gripe about the Geminas. I like posing my kits, but this is just not a fun time. Hopefully when they release the Gundam Grape, it wouldn't use the Geminas as a base. Size comparison time, and here it is side to side with your average Gundam. And at first glance, they look like they're the same height, but upon closer inspection, the Eucalyptus is just a tad smaller. Well, that's if you discount the crazy mohawk. Man, G-Unit really has some crazy head designs, huh? Well, this fella is from the Wing series, so it's expected to be smaller, but it doesn't really look any different size-wise. Speaking of Wing kits, here it is with its fellow G-Unit kits, Geminis and the Leo Chad. So if you're curious about any height difference between the Geminis and Eucalyptus, they're pretty much the same height since basically the Aesculapius is Geminis with cooler armor. Leo S over here is a bit taller than both because he's just so great. Check out the review over here. Last but definitely not the least, here it is with the narrative Gundam, and obviously this guy's gonna be bigger than this fella. So yeah, being a Wing kit, this is a bit smaller than average, but it really is one of the kits that will definitely stand out on your shelf because of those ridiculous pauldrons. I mean, tilted sideways, and it's gonna be longer than the Gundam. So yeah, size is not gonna be a problem for this guy. So overall, the Gundam Aesculapius really is a mean looking kit. Like seriously, look at that face. Does it not look like it's gonna rip you a new one? Other than that, the color scheme is really something fresh as you don't really see much purple Gundams, and not to mention the RG level detail for the kit. This would really look great if given a fresh coat of paint. Also, it gives you a nice choice to turn into a HGAC if you're into that. But this kit really isn't something that I can fully recommend. As I've mentioned, the HGAC gimmick could have been better if it just snapped on like a Transformers figure instead of hoping friction and gravity would hold the form together. And the base kit, not being a solid kit, really just drags it down a notch, as it's just not fun to handle. Gotta give them props though, the HGAC mode looks really great. This kit comes in the pricey 3960 yen, so expect to dish out more if you didn't have the chance to pre-order this thing. Man, scalpers are really getting out of hand reselling these kits at insane prices. I couldn't even buy an RG High New Gundam, since it's disgustingly expensive here for a retail release kit. Oh, by the way, my pre-ordered Mega Bazooka launcher just arrived, so I can equip it on my RG High New Gundam. If I had one! Oh yeah, the Aesculapius. If you like the look, find a decently priced one. Else, just wait for it. Don't give in to the scalpers, my friends. The Mobile Suit 2nd V and the Tall Geese 3 were one of the holy grails for me back then, and the prices were just god-awful in here. So I waited for so long, fighting the urge to spend a ridiculous amount of money, and then they showed up. The Tall Geese 3, half-built on a Japanese variety goods store, got it for 20 bucks. Doesn't have stickers, but it don't matter. Every single plastic is still in the box. A very sweet deal. The 2nd V, been eyeing the one that's around 60 bucks. A new store opened up and is selling it for less than half that price. Nab it like it's the last Whopper in Burger King. What I'm really trying to say here, guys and girls, is watch Backlog Kits reviews, so you know if that hunk of plastic is worth your hard-earned cash. And scalpers! So that's it for the review. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a down, and let us know why in the comment sections. Consider subscribing if you like what we do, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss a video. If you really enjoyed our video and wanted to support our channel's growth, come join our Patreon and help fuel Backlog Kits editor with meaning and purpose in life. Join us again next time for another Backlog Kits review.
Target neutralized.
Oh, you're still here? Thanks for being a champ and staying all the way to the end. If you like this video, why don't you check out another one of our reviews over here? This one. Leo S. Yeah, that one. is the video showing up? The last video, like, YouTube did something wonky, so I'm not sure if it's showing up right now, but there you go. Go on now.